Welcome to Friday with Beer. I am Marcus Beer, and this is where I talk to everybody about pop culture, video games, movies, TV, etc., etc. Um, Bear with me. I realize my standing desk isn't up as standy as enough as it should be, so I'm like, look, why am I looking down on things? All right, so there you go. That's better. There you go. Okay, so as you can see, I'm here. I'm still standing. If you're in the chat room, please say hi. As usual, let's have a conversation. Let's not. Okay. Stupid pop-ups. Anyway, yes, here I am. Sorry, it's been a bit of a week, as you probably know. If you follow me on Twitter, or if you're a Facebook friend, or if I've reached out to you, you will know, and we will get. I promise we'll get to the fun stuff. We'll talk about Suicide Squad. We'll talk about Ted Lasso. We'll talk about the upcoming Premier League season and how Man City are buying the title in advance. I'm just putting that in just to piss off Ray Bad. So on Wednesday, all right, let me backtrack a couple of months. Over the last 4 months or so, I've been having some discomfort in the prostate area, which is very sensitive area for men. And for a while, I put it off with just I'm sitting funny when I'm on the chair, when I'm working or whatever, or just aches, pains, I'm unfit, and so on. Eventually, I went to the doctor, and the doctor examined me, and he said, "Oh, you have prostatitis," because at the same time I had something that we thought was diverticulitis, which is basically a lining issue with regards to the intestines. And so my stomach was all swollen up at the same time. And they're like, "Oh, these two things, they kind of work together. So that's why, we're going to put you on some antibiotics for this one and for that one, and you should be okay. And you change your diet a little bit. My diet had been pretty good." And we did. And lo and behold, for a couple of weeks, things kind of died down. And then the prostate discomfort came back. I'm like, "Oh, not again." And eventually, it was time for my annual physical last week. And I spoke to the doctor about it, and he checked the prostate, and he found some ridging on the prostate. And he wanted to have me get some blood done, some blood tests. And what they do is they look for something called a PSA, which is a prostate-specific marker. And so this PSA test, in a normal, relatively healthy guy my age, your PSA level is 2. I did the blood test on what was it, on the Wednesday? Oh, actually, I did the blood test on the Friday morning. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not going to think anything about it." And then on the Monday morning, the tests came back, and the doctor actually called me at 8:30 this past Monday. And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's not good." And he said, "Well, yeah, I've got your PSAs back, and like I said, normal level 2, maybe 4. I was at 500, and it's basically a cancer marker." And so that was a bit of a oh shit moment. So he said, "All right, well, we're going to get you in first of all to a urologist, somebody who can check your prostate and go through everything, because that's the next step in the chain." We found a really good one here in Pasadena. Very lucky. They got me in. They were booked up for months, but they said, "All right, given your PSA, we need to get you in." And on Wednesday, got me in, did the exam, looked at the things, and it's like, there's nothing else it can be but prostate cancer. We just need to know exactly how bad it is. Then skip to yesterday. where again I've got to go in for a CT scan first thing yesterday morning. Again, amazing work by my doctors to get me in, because the CT scan itself, the wait lists are at least 2 to 3 weeks, but they're like, nope, boom, we need to get this guy in. I did the examinations with and without contrast. Basically, they put you in a donut, and they, from everywhere from sort of like my boobs down to just below my groin, they did with contrast and without. And normally, again, you're looking at a couple of days for the plates to come back. But by the time I went back to the urologist yesterday afternoon, he had the tests results in. And there I had another exam, and they took a biopsy. They took 12 biopsies from various different sections of my prostate, which is an interesting experience. You got something yay big buried up there, and then it's like, it sounds like a staple gun, and it's like pinch, 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 pinch. Thankfully, he'd put a local in there. So he got all those, and we've sent those off, and then he talked to me about the results from the CT scan, which basically showed that the prostate cancer has metastasized. It's advanced. We don't know if it's super aggressive and has just sort of like come out of nowhere, or if it's something that's been bubbling along for a while, and because of all the issues with the heart, we weren't looking for anything else, and symptoms could have been masked by the heart, the heart bypass and the various, issues I've had there. So it's either been slow and like decided to really rear its head since January, February, or it's come out of the blue and is raising hell. Either way, it's not good. But it's prostate cancer, and I'm not making light to this. But prostate cancer, a lot of men get it, and a lot of men get it and they don't even know that they're getting it. And once you've got it and it's diagnosed, treatment is key. And so I have appointments next week with 3 different oncologists, which is amazing, because where we live in Altadena, I'm really lucky. I've got USC, UCLA, and City of Hope. 3 amazing cancer treatment centers with amazing doctors. And I've got appointments with all 3 next week, which is amazing. And all down to Shauna, my wife. She's been my rock before, and she's doing it all over again. She has kicked into gear. It's just like, all right, well, this is what we do. This is how we're rocking it. This is what you need to do. This is where we're going to go. This is who I'm talking to. And again, it takes a village, and our friends have been amazing. One of my cardiologist who looked after the ticker has become a very close family friend. And he's like, all right, so you talk to this guy, and this guy. And then we've had somebody who's a radiologist who's Shauna's friend. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, something in my mouth. And they've been like, all right, well, we look at this, and this is how you do it. And if I was you, I'd go here. And this is just, I've been very, very lucky. Now, so how do I feel right now? And apologies for the hair. I was supposed to get my haircut yesterday, but something came up. So people are asking, how am I feeling? As you can see, I'm still here. I'm not, walking skeleton or anything like that. The symptoms I have is a slight discomfort that comes and goes in the prostate area. And then the abdomen issues and back pain that I've been having on and off for the last couple of months are now explained by the fact that I have masses in both my abdomen and my base of my spine, which sounds really fucking scary, to be honest with you. It scares the bejesus out of me when I stop to think about it. But it's stuff that can be treated. And this is the next step, is to get these treatments done so that we can shrink these things. And once they shrink, I've basically been on a really good diet for the last God knows how long, and I haven't been losing weight. And now we know why. So yes, I still have some stomach discomfort and some lower back pain, and then some prostate discomfort and fatigue. my sleep patterns haven't been great in general for a while, and I've gotten really into the habit of having an afternoon nap, of which I woke up from one not 15 minutes ago. So I jumped in the shower. This is why I'm looking so tousled and so yeah. But I mean, look, on the whole, I am up. I've got energy to do stuff. I'm just in limbo with regards to what we do until I get in front of an oncologist. So yeah, that's my situation. So first and foremost, I mean, I'll take some questions in a second, but I'm gonna ask that if you are a bloke of a certain age, and I'm talking about going into your 40s, all right? They don't check for this stuff till you turn 50. And I turned 50 last December. So they probably would have checked last year on my physical because I was coming up to 50. Slight problem. Global pandemic and the bypass meant that last year's physical didn't actually happen. And I didn't remember that it didn't happen until this week. I mean, as soon as my doctor found an issue, they were like, boom, get this done. So yeah, get your prostate checked. It's it's one of those things that's got a stigma because I'm not going to let anybody put a finger up my bum. But you know what? The alternative is much like with COVID and getting a COVID vaccine. You either get the vaccine and plan to live a long and fruitful life, or you don't get the vaccine and know that you're going to die because that's how bad it is. Prostate cancer or get your prostate checked. You get it checked, you get peace of mind. If you find something, if there's an anomaly, they'll do the blood test. Very easy. Boom, boom, boom. They'll check your PSAs. And then if there's something wrong, they can nip it in the bud. The treatments, there's a lot of treatments for different stages. Not always, go into chemotherapy or anything like that. I mean, chemotherapy would have to be a very last ditch thing for me because of, again, the heart. It puts a lot of pressure on your heart. So I don't know what I'm going to, how we're going to get down that route, but there are other options long before we go there. But please get checked. Just like we tell women, once you hit 40 in particular, get mammograms. With men, get your prostate checked. Absolutely, please get them checked because this is more and more common. And they don't know where it comes from. There's no genetic markers in my family for cancer. I mean, we've got genetic markers a go-go when it comes to heart disease, but the cancer thing, it just came out of nowhere. It really did. So just take care of yourself and get yourself checked. When you get into your mid-40s, just do it. Get it checked. For me, I was the cautionary tale 4 years ago when I had the heart attack about, getting things done like a carotid artery test and obviously eating a little better, which I hadn't done up until my heart attack. And I smoked a pack a day up until my heart attack. And then my heart gave out and it's like, this is what happens. And I was that cautionary tale then. I'm a cautionary tale now. The reason I'm sharing this with everybody is not for sympathy, not for, oh, poor Marcus. I want you to get checked, get your husbands checked, your boyfriends, your brothers, your fathers. And if they refuse because of some, silly macho need that we've all had at some point, I was like, I'm not going to let him put a finger in me, blah, 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 unless he buys me a cup of coffee first. But you have to do it. Because the alternative is death. And no, I don't know how long I've got. I am going to either be, we'll know more come next week and when I've met with the 3 oncologists and we got the biopsies. But the stopwatch or the countdown clock has been activated. That's the way I look at it. There's a countdown clock for my time on Earth as Marcus Beer before I evolve and join the other ethereal beings as an evolved super being. My countdown clock is activated. I just don't know whether it's ticking in weeks, months, or years. But it's going to happen. This is going to kill me. Hopefully a little bit later, because there's so many more people I haven't pissed off yet. There's so much more nagging that I haven't done yet and haven't been more outraged. And there's so much popular culture I haven't consumed yet. I want to watch the new Bond film. I want to see Chris Chibnall gone from Doctor Who and see, and finally, when I shuffle off this mortal coil, I want to know that Doctor Who is in the hands of a great writer for once. Stranger Things has been pushed back. Season 4 has been pushed back to next year. I want to be alive to watch all of that as well. I was getting ready for a Halloween Stranger Things treat. So I'm, there's so much more. I want to watch Liverpool win the title again. I want to spend more time with my wife and my family. I want to do more ranty videos and talk to you wonderful people. So yeah, this has been me. This has been me since Wednesday. And look, I'll be honest with you, kind of knew it was coming from the discussion on Monday, and then confirmation on Wednesday, and then yesterday it got into, it's the confirmation that gets into your head. Now you read about people who are diagnosed with this after being, it's like, oh my God, he was so healthy and he was so vibrant, and all of a sudden, he got this diagnosis and was gone in a couple of months. I'm determined not to be that guy. But it is difficult that, it gets into your head, every ache and pain. So I'm like, oh, okay. Back. Is that another thing? Oh, my stomach. Oh, my groin. Oh, and then any other related pain, like, oh, hang on, I got a bit of a headache. That was a sharp pain there. That was just a twinge. That you get these twinges, and 3 weeks ago I was like, a little twinge, boom, vision headache, whatever. Now, oh, is this another mass? Has it gone anywhere else? And it's difficult once it gets into your head to really figure out how to sort of like disconnect the stuff and compartmentalize. And this is why I'm doing the show today. And I want to do the show today because I want to be able to talk and share, because I know everybody has questions. But I also wanted to, I want to keep going and be normal as possible. You're going to see me over the coming weeks and months change physically as I go through the therapy. And I want to document that. I want to be able to, because I want to show you what it is. I want to show you that this is what you risk by not getting tested. I mean, nobody wants to look at me at the best, like me at the best of times, but hopefully you will see me start to look even more like shit and then come out the other side and look better. And I will be one of the success stories. And you'll be like, cool, I got checked. Boom. Because you don't want the alternative. And so, yes, that's why I'm going to keep on doing the show. That's why I'm going to keep on talking on Twitter and everywhere else. And so, yeah, you're not getting rid of me that easily, you buggers. I'm going to be around for a while, I hope. And the gallows humor is in full effect. Both me and my wife have spent the last 48 hours in particular making really inappropriate jokes, because that's how we survive. And I will share one with you. I'll share two, actually, because she came up with two blinders. Wednesday, we were coming back from the initial diagnosis, and I was like, well, I want to stop and get a sandwich. There's a great place here called Roma Deli. They do the most amazing sandwiches. And so I stopped, and it's also, it's a grocery store. And as I got out, Shauna said, oh, don't forget to get the nuts. I'm like, what nuts? And she said, oh, we're out, because they bag and sell their own walnuts. I'm like, what nuts? And she said, get his nuts. His nuts are amazing. I'm like, oh, really? Because it's run by a 91-year-old guy. And she looked at me and said, yes, his nuts. At least they work and are amazing, unlike yours. Now go get the fucking nuts. And I laughed my ass off. And then the other thing was, we were having a discussion this morning about how testosterone comes from, runs through the prostate. and how literally it's, you know, it's defining your masculinity to prostate, testosterone, and how literally I am dying because of toxic masculinity. My toxic prostate is killing me. I just thought that was funny. And yeah, you got to look at it. You got to look at it and laugh. I know some people are like, "Oh, that's so offensive," but you know what? It's my fucking disease. I'm owning it. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. I see we've got record numbers today. Ah, you ghoulish bastards. You only want to watch me now because you know I'm going to be dead soon. I'm not really. I'll be dead-ish. But anyway, let me go to the chat room. Bear with me. I'm going to tootle on up. I want to say hi to everybody. Boom, boom, boom. Backby, I'm sorry to hear you've had the chronic pain in your prostate. Please get it. I hope you've had it checked. Fatarich, ready player mama in the house. Sub level 28. That's Annalie and D Night Walker. Let's see. Yeah, Backby, you really should just get it checked if you haven't already. Jakey's in the house. Let me see. Jack Tanner, hi Jack. Stackle. Mustang Lippy in the house. My old friend from North Carolina. What's the toxic prostate emote? Randy Devins, thank you very much. Yes, everybody's saying I'm too manly. Craig Berry in the house. Thank you as well. So yes, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in. We're also, we're going to talk about everything else. There's questions about anything else as well, not just the cancer bitch. And look, I mean, there's so many people who are fighting this, and so many people who don't have a platform to put out their fight. And I just think that cancer is something that is for front and center in my mind, obviously right now. But I'm very grateful to all the medical professionals for everything over the last 4 years, anyway. But just to have these people in my life is amazing, and of course to have Shauna in my life, I'm just so lucky. So, all right. So let's talk about the stuff that you tune in for. Here we go. Ray Pad's in the house, Mr. Oh, look at this. He just wants to play Fantasy Premier League. He wants to play Man City rules, which basically means he gets all the money and can buy whoever the fuck he wants, and we have to make do with everybody who's left. Because that's the way Ray works. He is used to his club buying everybody. 100 million for Jack Grealish. Really great player, don't get me wrong, but 100 million? Oh, and of course the 160 million that they'll probably have to pay for Harry Kane, not Roy Keane. But yes, I'll be there for the draw tomorrow. I'll be there, and Liverpool will be there at the end of the season. Kyle Stalick in the house, one of my greatest friends. Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm so glad that a lot of you have turned up today. I wish you'd turned up before to bump the views up on this thing before I decided to, get all dying and shit. But now here I am, and now we are. This is it. All right, Backby with the question that leads into the first topic, and that is, have I seen Suicide Squad yet? And the answer is a very, very strong yes. It hit on HBO Max yesterday here in the US, and the wife and I cuddled up to watch it last night. Now, I'm a big fan of James Gunn. The movie Slither that he did is still one of my favorites. And then obviously he did Guardians 1 and 2, and he's done a bunch of other stuff. But Guardians 1 came out of nowhere to be one of my favorite Marvel movies. Guardians 2, But James Gunn does a couple of things really well. One, he does multi-character or ensemble movies really well. Two, he does action and comedy really well. And 3, he puts the best friggin' soundtracks. Him and Edgar Wright, who's done Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Those 2 guys in particular do the best soundtracks with regards to the licensed music they drop in to their movies. Taika Waititi did so well with Thor Ragnarok, but he's on a one-off right now. We'll have to wait for a couple more of his Marvel movies. But yeah, the soundtracks, they're almost like extra characters. They're so good. So yes, we sat down, we watched Suicide Squad last night, and it starts off really well, very stylish, kind of like, Duffer? It's R-rated, there's swearing, there is, I think, there's even a little nudity. There actually is nudity in there, both male and female. They managed to get little danglers in there as well. Swearing, blood, humor, action by the buttload. The characters are, even the characters that you think are the most dull characters ever from the comic book, like the Polka Dot Man. He has some of the best visual aspects of the movie and some of the best lines, and you see some stuff from his perspective, and it's just hysterical. I am going to go ahead and look, I'm going to put a little asterisk by this, but this is the best DC Universe movie since Superman 2. I'm talking about Superman 2 with Zod, Non, and Ursa, and Christopher Reeve and Terrence Stamp, back from the early 80s. Now, a lot of people will turn around and say, oh, but what about the Dark Knight trilogy with Christopher Nolan, which on the whole is an excellent trilogy. And the Dark Knight Returns is, or the Dark Knight rather, that's the second one, is a fantastic film with Heath Ledger as the Joker, who, an amazing turn. But they feel that trio of movies feels more like a crime caper superhero adjacent, because there's no superpowers involved. Purely as a comic book movie, for me, The Suicide Squad is far and away the best. Special effects are excellent. The cast is excellent. The script is fantastic. The bad guys are great. I mean, there's no black and white. It's all shades of gray. Now, I've said this before, that every single DC movie over the last couple of years has suffered from shitty bad guy syndrome. And I will also say that The Suicide Squad shows up Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and in fact, all of Zack Snyder's DC Universe movies, for the wanking shit that they actually are. Don't care if you disagree on that one. You watch The Suicide Squad by James Gunn. It is dark in spots. It is funny. The action's great. The characters are great. The soundtrack is banging. Visual effects are fantastic. I mean, look, you have to live under a rock not to know that Starro is the fucking bad guy. It's right there in the trailers. He made a starfish the bad guy, and it fucking works. Zack Snyder had Darkseid, couldn't make that fucking work. He had Batman fight Superman, couldn't make that work. When James Gunn's done with Guardians of the Galaxy, they should just turn the whole DC universe over to him. He would have so much fucking fun with it. You'd get amazing actors and amazing directors working in that particular area for DC, and he could probably put together a whole fucking series of movies. But that's wishful thinking. So yes, loved it. I'm going to watch it again this weekend, in fact, because I can. Idris Elba, fantastic in it. Yeah, I mean, everybody is. Peter Capaldi, the Doctor. I mean, he's awesome in it. I mean, there's a bunch of different characters, and I mean, obviously, Harley Quinn. She's really. This is probably her best outing. She has. She's a little more fleshed out, even more than she was in Birds of Prey movie. So yeah. Margot Robbie does a brilliant job. John Cena is his character. He's getting his own HBO series as well, and I'm gonna look forward to that because if it's as half as foul mouthed and just insane as his characters in this movie, that's going to be fantastic. I just hope I live to see it, which is going to be my ongoing joke now. I'm going to a T-shirt saying, I hope I live to see blank," and then everything I want to see, everything that appeals to me, I hope I live to see it. All right. Let's see. Doyo, and how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for dropping in. Let me see. Oh, all right. Let me see. Did I see the Donner cut of Superman 2? I think I actually have the Donner cut of Superman 2. I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah, I don't know if I've got it somewhere. Oh, D. Night Walker, yes. So here we go. Here's a good one. Speaking of DC, have you seen the new animated Batman movie? I haven't seen The Long Halloween Part 2. I'll tell you for why. Stay there. I haven't seen it because I've read it. This is one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. If you haven't read The Long Halloween, I thoroughly recommend it. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale they wrote a tour de force. Now, I haven't seen the adaptations because they split them into two parts. I can understand it's a big beefy book, and I'm a little too tight to turn around and buy both versions, and they'll turn up on HBO Max soon, so I'm happy to watch them. Because again, DC animated does a really, really good job, and it'll be interesting to see now how Marvel's animated kicks in next week, because What If is starting next Wednesday. But if you haven't read The Long Halloween, or if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's over the space of a year. It's more crime boss based. You do see some of the bad guys. You see Batman, you see Joker, you see Scarecrow, you see some of the lesser ones like Calendar Man. You see Riddler, and it's just a truly great book. I will watch the adaptation at some point, but no, I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, I recommend go watching it or let me know what you think. But also read the fucking book. The book is amazing. It's a great one. It really is. Oh, all right. Let's see. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Doyo, and thank you. Can you add topics to the VOD title for folks like myself who usually get the video later to grab attention? Yeah, I probably should. I mean, I just basically I put I try to put the topics in. I'm not sure if they port across as always, but I will definitely try and do that moving forward. Thank you for that suggestion. I appreciate it. Michael Rooker again is great in Suicide Squad, by the way. Yeah, so that's my view on that version of The Long Halloween. I will definitely check it out at some point. Well, that list is going to be long. Yeah, literally, I mean, the idea of bucket list has become so apt now. And it's something that I am going to be working on this weekend. I'm going to sit down with my wife, and sorry, I'm not trying to be a bummer about this. I'm just letting you know. You know me. I'm not the most shiny, positive person in the world. People might say I can be a little curmudgeonly or a little grumpy. Dare I say it, annoyed? But I am being, I've got the optimism pants on that I'm going to kick this, and as part of that, we're setting up our bucket list of places we want to go. We want to go to Australia and New Zealand. Why? Because, and it's again assuming COVID decides to take a break and everybody gets vaccinated and we get some sort of herd immunity. I mean, that's the big stuff. I'd love to go to Japan again, and then on to onto Australia and New Zealand. Want to go on a cruise, maybe to Alaska. Even just something local. I want to go to Palm Springs again with my wife, because I mean that we haven't done that for 3 years now. But that's every year we've been together. We went to Palm Springs for 3 or 4 days and just chilled out, ate some amazing food, got some sun, soaked by a pool, and it's wonderful people there. It's just a wonderful part of the world. And yeah, when COVID's done, we're going to do that again. And it's like places I want to go and eat, things that there's a whole slew of movies that have been in my Netflix and just my streaming queues in general that I haven't watched. I mean, I haven't seen Casablanca, for fuck's sake. I want to watch these things. So this bucket list now is just tootling along with regards to things I want to do, things I want to see, and places I want to go. So let me know where you want to go. What would be cool for you is on the bucket list. Craig Berry's asking, who's the top of my my hit list right now? I don't have a hit list unless you happen to be a anti-vax, Trump-loving fucknut. Those are the ones that should be on the hit list. The fact that these fuckers stay in power for X amount of years and live to their fucking 90s, while people who generally tend to give a fuck for other people get heart issues, don't get food, I'm not talking about myself here, but I mean, don't get, lose their homes because they can't afford their medical bills, or can't afford an education, go to school hungry, and you've got these rich old fucknuts who are allowed to get away with the shit they get away with. And then you got the Bezoses of this world who are like, oh, look at me, I'm doing something for mankind, I'm getting in my big blue dick, and I'm riding to the edge of the atmosphere. If those fuckers can live to 90, there's obviously something wrong with our system. There's obviously something wrong. And I have a theory. I'm going off on a tangent again. So this is my theory. Having died for 18 minutes and been in a coma before with a heart attack, I didn't go to a bright light or a shiny, fluffy place. So, I like to make the joke, oh, there was no heaven. But I did get really warm and smelt sulfur because, I'm going to hell because I'm an arsehole. I got to say, we see lots of good people dying younger and younger. Not all the people who die younger are good. Obviously, there are ones who are total shit sacks. But you do see a certain type of person who is a walking shit sack. Rupert Murdoch, Donald Trump, Dick Cheney, the Koch brothers, who don't really deserve to live long and fruitful lives. And I think it's basically because our time, and this is just my random wacky theory, that our time on this earth is all about cooking. We are cooking as souls. Now, I'm not saying we're off to heaven or hell or anything like that, but we are cooking and maturing. And once we get to a certain boiling point that we are done and ding, the timer goes off, that's it. We shuffle off this mortal coil and we evolve, not necessarily to heaven and wings or whatever, but we move to a next plane of existence. Because I'm not a religious guy and I don't have any problem with anybody having faith. Whatever works for you, especially if you don't use it like a mallet. As long as you don't use your faith to discriminate against others, you're a great person as far as I'm concerned. But yes, so I just went off on this, like I said, random thought. This is what happens when you start thinking about death. The first time round, I was in a coma. I was dead. Didn't really think about it. I came out of the coma and then started recovering. Shauna went through a week of me being in a coma. I didn't know if I'd come out of it. This time round, I'm living it. She's like, about time you got to put up with some of the shit that I got up to. Or she had to put up with. Oh. So yeah, it's you start to think about these random things. I mean, I don't think I'm at the stage where I am going to think about a big fuzzy sky finger, but wouldn't it be great if this is the training level in a game? This is the tutorial, and depending on how you do on the tutorial, you can you progress, and it just sets you on a path for the next level, for the actual game. Imagine this is the 4-hour pre-credit sequence in that you get in Red Dead Redemption 2. That's what we're living. Hi, Playland. Hi, Mark Simpson. How long did it take to get my PSA bloods done? Actually, I had them done on the Friday, and the results were back the following Monday. So, oh, I know. Ironis Raypad suggested that I write George R. Martin and say, "I'm dying of cancer. Please finish your books." No, really couldn't be bothered. Tried reading the books, and they're just not. They just didn't appeal to me. I really enjoyed Game of Thrones, but that's been and gone and done. There's too many other shows that are just so enjoyable that I'm participating. Carl Stalik's bucket list: crush a car with a monster truck. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Kind of crazy, but yes, I could go with that. Let's see what else. You know what? You say that, but what happens if, you know, I mean, if there is nothing after this, and this is where it's going to be an interesting show, people. Guess what? Turn up for the video game chat and the pop culture chat, and stay for the theories about life and the afterlife and that thereof. I hope that we do get a second chance or something after this. Otherwise, I mean, it can be that, you're just a grain of sand on a fucking vast beach, and the tide comes in and moves you away. Looking at your own mortality is something that's very interesting. I literally never did it up until, the heart attack brought it to my mind, but it's like, I've done it. I've kicked it. I've had the bypass. I've got about 20 odd years, and it's going to be fun. And then literally when I hit 50, that's when you get into the area of time where it's like, all right, now all the people I listened to music wise or idolized in my teens and in my 20s or whatever, they're starting to die out. How long for me? I mean, and again, you look at something, I'm a fan of Doctor Who that's been on. Next year, I think, is the 60th anniversary, or the year after next is the 60th anniversary of the show. The show is 7 years older than me. And I'm like, you start thinking, oh, that show's going to be going long after I'm gone. Or I will be dead and there will be more James Bond films or Avengers movies or, stuff that is timeless, stuff that's been going for half a century or even more. And it just makes you think that it's like, oh, I'm a big fan of this stuff, but I'm not going to be around to see it. So you then do hope that there is something next to look forward to. Yeah, but you try thinking about that. Try thinking about that. It drives you fucking nuts. Oh, Mark Simpson. Well, look, it's amazing that your dad is surviving. I am so pleased for you, Mark. It's in my lymph nodes. It's in my bones. It's metastasized. And we're just going to do everything possible to fight the fucker. I'm not going down without a fight because, me, I like a good... But again, sorry, I don't mean to get a little down, but I am so happy for you, Mark. I'm so happy for your dad. Unfortunately, on my end, it's... I got the shitty end of the stick on this one, but I'll keep everybody appraised and updated. I'm still going to do the show. Like I said, I've started doing a video diary from after every doctor's appointment, so that I'm either going to look back at it at some point or get somebody to stitch it together into the world's worst documentary about old Welshman gets prostate cancer and dies. Yeah, sorry about that. It's being trying to be, positive is, it can be hard because let's face it, anybody goes to a bad place. So sorry about that. I'm back. Let's have a drink. So yeah, what else? Oh, Ted Lasso. New Ted Lasso dropped last night, and that was a very nice, fun episode. A little bit different. We watched it in an effort to try and get to bed. In fact, I probably have to watch it again to really remember a lot of it. But I just remember that it's part of the rehabilitation of Jamie Tart, which I thought was good, and I liked the stand against the airline. That was pretty cool. There's another show on Apple TV Plus called Physical that the wife and I have been watching. We started watching because it's got a good cast, but also it's set in the 80s, start of the aerobics boom, great music, big hair, something we can both relate to. And I got to say, it's a very interesting show that goes absolutely fucking nowhere in one season. So I'm happy to give a recap to anybody who wants that at some point, just to save them watching the show. It's basically 8 or 9 half-hour episodes of the same shit over and over. It doesn't go anywhere. Or if it does, it incrementals. And nobody is likable. So don't bother. Kyle. So yeah, I am going to open up the floor. Give me more questions. Let's talk. I'm obviously going to be around for another. You know what? Isn't it strange now that the phrase "I'm going to be around for" is now taken on this whole different meaning for me? I'm going to be around. It's like, oh, what are you doing in August? I don't fucking know. I mean, let's meet up and go for a thing. No, it's a case of, oh, well, I'm coming to town in October. Will you be around? And I'm like, I don't know. I hope so, but there's no guarantee anymore. And I got to laugh at it. I really got to laugh at it. I mean, there will be times where I will cry, and there will be times that I will rant, rage against the dying of the light. I think I just misquoted. Is it Dying of the Night or the Light? Dylan Thomas. Amazing Welsh poet who I just fucking misquoted. Thoughts on Messi on the verge of signing with PSG? PSG are another club that can go to fucking hell. All I hope is that if they sign Messi, Kylian Mbappe says, fuck this, I'm out a year early, and he comes to Liverpool. Send Sadio Mane the other way if they want another great player. Yes. Kylian Mbappe for Liverpool. Be lovely. It's not going to happen, but there you go. It is Dying of the Light. Thank you, Ray. Yeah. Oh. So come on, give me questions. You were part of my survival package. Like I said, you've been part of my COVID therapy with regards to lockdown and being able to talk to you wonderful people who tune in, week out, and keep me on my toes on Twitter and Facebook, etc., etc. But I want some, you are really going to help me get through this. You are going to see me on my high days. You're going to see me on my low days. I am going to try and be as positive as I can, but there's some dark shit coming up. And so buckle up, buttercups. Give us some questions. Let's party. And look, you know what? Right now, I'm happy with the cancer jokes. I am, cancer jokes, testicle jokes, prostate jokes. I'm going to detail my therapy. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to make light of some stuff, and there's some stuff that's going to be quite dark. And I hope you're around for it, because I'm not going to be light and fluffy and silly all the time. There's going to be some interesting shit, because I want to try and educate. I want to try and help. I want to make sure that you, boys in particular, and you ladies, get your lady bumps checked with the mammograms. And boys, finger, not your finger, and not some random person's finger. It's like you're not walking down the high street going, oh, I think I'll have my prostate checked. Here's £5, homeless man. Would you wet your finger and see if my prostate's okay? No, that's a whole different thing. Totally, frowned upon, apparently, because, we're kind of repressed like that. But yeah, please go to your doctor and Okay, Kyle's asking, are there any signs that you had this before? As I said at the top of the show, I mean, I've had some prostate-related discomfort for the last several months, but I thought it was part of getting old, and then I thought it was prostatitis, and those are the main signs. But I mean, I've had weight gain, or my weight actually hasn't gone up, but I've been bloated. I have a belly that is quite firm, which has never been an issue before, but that's because there's masses in there that are quite sore. Actually, I just poked myself. It's like, ow, quite sore. That was stupid. And then, like I said, the fatigue, and you start to put stuff together, and they're like, oh, okay, this is it. So yeah, it's anytime you have discomfort, sensitivity in the testicles area, get them checked. Oh, Stephen Blomkamp in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say right now, other than this show is going to go on for as long as I can physically do it. Which, if you're really unlucky, means I'm going to be around here when I'm 70 going, the Nintendo, where you're making a Mario Kart, and it's all the same 3 games with the Zelda and the Mario and the Kart and the Smash Brothers is crap. And that's going to be me in 20 years' time, if you're desperately unlucky. Otherwise, I'm just going to go out the top of my game, and it's going to be like, oh, well, this is not looking good, but here's a bottle of 12-year-old scotch. Chug away. There's a line, and again, I'm paraphrasing. If you're a Brit of my age, you'll be aware of a show called Red Dwarf, which was a comedy series. In fact, it's still on. It got rebooted not so long ago. That was on in the 80s and has come back since. And there's a line where one of the characters has seen a future version of himself get blown up, and his name's Dave Lister, and he's getting to the point where he knows this explosion's going to happen, and he gets told he has to go to a certain part of the ship, and he knows this is where the explosion is going to be. And so he basically puts on his baseball cap, he puts on his jacket, and he grabs a baseball bat. And somebody says, "What the hell are you doing?" And he says something along the lines of, "If death is going to come for me, I'm not going out without a fight. I'm going to rip his bloody balls off." Assuming death has balls. And right now, that's the way I feel. Not going out without a fight. Let's see. Craig Berry. What the hell? That's just totally awesome and on point. Wasn't that me last week, though? That's me every fucking week. That's been me, and kudos. I love it. That's been me since they gave me the Annoyed Gamer show. I was like, oh, look at the Nintendo fans. You're all playing the same game, and every time you're all so happy over it. And the media is like, oh, Nintendo, this. There's no real innovation. It's all incremental, and blah, 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 blah. So, yes, you're totally right. It was me last week. It'll be me next week, too. Kudos. Well done. I actually spoke to John Kiefer is somebody who has been around this industry a very long time as well. He used to head up GameSpy, fantastic man, and he is also in the throes of the dreaded C word. I spoke to him this morning. Actually, he is somebody who has just been a genuinely nice man his entire fucking life and doesn't deserve this sort of shit, the cancer. And so we have decided, we made a pact that we are both going to kick the cancer. We're going to see out COVID. And then either next year or the year after, we are going to have a grumpy old men of games reunion. And select people are going to be invited to come and hang out with us. And we are going to drink and reminisce and tell stories of our time in the trenches in the video games. And so, Ray, if you're a good boy, we'll invite you because you're obviously only 12 years old. What the hell? I'm sure that would be terribly, be terribly confusing. But yes, Red Dwarf. If you, I think you can watch it on. It's on. It's on BritBox. It's on BritBox. So I'd recommend watching. I mean, look, I'd say the first 3 seasons are the strongest. Maybe the first 4. Special effects, nothing to be written at home about. But I mean, Craig Charles, Danny John Jules, Robert Llewellyn, and Chris Barry. They are a great cast. It's just a great, fun series. It's, if the last man in the universe was some slobby scouser with really bad personal hygiene, and what sort of adventures they'd have, and it's got some really high quality celebrity fans. I mean, Sir Patrick Stewart. I watched a retrospective of it, and Sir Patrick Stewart of Picard and Next Generation fame said that he was back home in the UK after filming, on a break from filming The Next Generation, and he turned on the TV and he saw this show called Red Dwarf, and he thought it was a parody of Star Trek, and he was really upset. He was offended that they were taking the piss, and then he started watching it, and he found himself laughing and laughing and laughing, and he didn't stop laughing, and he's been a fan of the show ever since. So if it's good enough for Picard, for Jean-Luc, for Professor X, if you will, it's good enough for you. Watch it. I was actually at a hotel a couple of years ago, and the refrigerator in the room, it was a very boutique-y, hipstery hotel in Austin, and it had the Smeg kitchen appliances, which is it's very, very strange if you watch Red Dwarf and if you know what Smeg means. So there you go. Smeg heads. Such a great phrase. All right. I'm coming up on the 1 hour. I'm not tired, so please don't think I'm finishing early because I'm actually going to wrap it up because I don't have that much to talk about. I mean, not like I said before, in the summer, it's quiet anyway. And this week has just been, I've not really paid attention to anything in video games. I know that there's been some more movement with regards to the Activision Blizzard situation. The head of HR is gone. I think the head of Blizzard's gone. More and more people are getting called out, and more details are emerging. And I'm glad they're emerging. We've got to get rid of this toxic bullshit. I mean, the games industry can be a fun place to work. Hard work, yes, but it can be so fun. But it needs to be fun for everybody. It needs to be fun for men and women and non-binary people and just every person in general. They don't need to be overworked and abused and harassed in their workplace or on Twitter or anywhere else. And like every industry, we need to find these harassers and everybody and just force them the fuck out. Really do. Okay, but yes, I am getting a little. I'm a little pooped. I mean, again, you can also cut me some slack in that my sleep patterns this week have not been great. I was awake yesterday from 3 till 5 a.m. Just I'm awake now. Oh, peeing in the middle of the night. That's another thing that came, the side effect that kicked in this year. A lot of peeing in the middle of the night. And so, yeah, a little tired. Let's see. I'm going to go through some of the last comments as we wind down. Raypad says, go to London 2022. Go to London, visit friends. Go see Richmond Green for Ted Lasso. Richmond's a beautiful part of the world, by the way. Richmond, Kingston upon Thames, that entire area by the Thames. You really should. Yeah, you should go. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Certainly nicer than Manchester. I'm biased. So there's some great people I know who are from Manchester, and it's a lovely city with a lovely community, except for the 2 soccer clubs. Fuck on. Let's see. Oh yes, Psychonauts 2. I started playing Psychonauts 1. I told you that, didn't I? I really got into that. I really liked that. You know what I have got into this week before everything, kind of got is Dishonored 2. I've gone back to play that again. That's such an excellent game. Kind of getting excited for Deathloop. And Dishonored 2 is, I think, is a great way to do that because I've got a funny feeling there'll be some similarities just in that arcane style. So, yeah, and with all those games being on the Xbox Games Pass, yeah, recommend that because I love Dishonored 1 and I never give Dishonored 2 the full playthrough it deserved. All right. I think that's it. Everybody's talking about good stuff. I mean, I'm looking forward to talking to you about things like Deathloop when they come out. Because I plan on still being around for this stuff. Although, look, so this is the other thing now. Do I bother getting a PS5 and an Xbox Series, whatever the fuck it is? I'm like, well, I want to have a PlayStation. I want to play the PS5. I want to play these games. I'm like, that's a grand gone right there. Shit. If anybody from Sony or Microsoft are watching and you do want to send me one, by the way, you know where I am. I haven't moved in the last 10 years. I'm still in your records. So feel free. Send that over to me. I'll talk about it on my show to the 200 plus people who watch every week. But there you go. I think that it might be that it's the universe's way of telling me not to invest in a next-gen console. That's if I come on a show in a couple of weeks or a couple of months or whatever, and I'm holding a PlayStation 5 or a new Xbox that I just bought, you know that I've had a good diagnosis, a good prognosis. That's the ultimate fucking optimism there. If I drop $600 on a new console, that's the ultimate. That's the meme right there. That is it. That's the ultimate in optimism. You've just been diagnosed with aggressive metastasized prostate cancer and you go out and you buy a new console. That's fucking optimism right there. That's the goal. That's the bucket list. Oh, there you go. Isn't that amusing? Obviously, I'll have to stand to play it because if I sit down for too long, my prostate flares up. But there you go. All right. Thanks for cheering me up on that one. Or did I cheer myself up? I don't fucking know. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. Thanks for letting me share my week with you. I'm going to continue to share as we move forward. I'll be back next week. I will beg your indulgence that there will be fluctuations in when I'm going to be able to do the show moving forward, because there's going to be days where I'm going to be seeing doctors, I'm going to be in treatment, and obviously that is going to take precedence. And Shauna's not prepared to take over the show. She said that if I'm having treatment, she wants to be there with me. And there's me saying, you could do the show for me. And she's like, no. And I'm not quite ready to stream from my iPhone while I'm getting some sort of injections or whatever therapy, etc., etc. So bear with me. I will, be around as often as I can. So as always, thank you for the shout outs. Thank you for the love. I've been overwhelmed on Facebook and Twitter by all the positive messages. You're amazing people. I'm very lucky to have you in my lives. As usual, if you are watching on Twitch, if you want to follow, give me a likey, followy type thing, but not a subscription. Please don't waste your Twitch money on this. If you're on Facebook, you can give me a sub. It costs you nothing. Follow me on Twitter, which is Annoyed Gamer. If you do feel the urge to contribute to to keeping this going and everything else, I do have a Patreon. It's right there. It's been front and center the entire time because the days of being uncomfortable about shilling have come to an end. I'm going to have medical bills, a shit ton of medical bills. And I do have the Patreon and I do have the different tiers. It's tier 1 or tier 2, $3 or $6 a month. If you could spare that, that would be fantastic. I'm not expecting anybody to sign up for the third tier, even though the fucking mug is cool. And these things are now going to go up in value. When I'm dead, you won't be able to get these fucking mugs. And then there's tier 4, which I just put in for a laugh, which is a bunch of fucking asinine merchandise in general. But yeah, if you do have it within your heart to, within your bank balance, because I know times are tough. If you do have it within your bank balance to throw $3 or $6 my way, that would be gratefully appreciated. If not, c'est la vie, peace, love. We're all good. Hang on. Let's see. All of a sudden, the chat blows up as I'm going. It's like, you guys, I thought I was out and you pull me back in. Now let's send this to Sony and have him send him a PS5 along with a cure. If Sony is a cure for cancer and they're sitting on it, they're in fucking trouble. Joseph Jones, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm not planning on going anywhere yet. I'm going to be here. It's going to be a wild ride, and you're all invited. Sub level 28. I'm going to be around for Marvel Phase 8. That's right. I'm going to be around for when they've totally run out of heroes, and it's Captain Crocodile and Howard the Duck is the leader of the Avengers. Craig Berry. Oh, if you're getting busy getting treatments, can you have my PS5? Well, I don't have a PS5, so that's the thing. You can't ask for my PS5 until I've got the PS5, and then I'll say fuck off no until I'm ready to die, and then I might say how much. I'm glad Backby. Thank you for tuning in. Craig Berry, sorry you didn't say dibs. Too late. And there you go. Raypad is going to buy 100 mugs made to mark up for when you kick it. You know what? You can get in your fancy car. You can drive to Altadena, and I'll sign them for you in magic marker. I'll draw a big dick. Dean Height Walker says, you could always ask Mr. Pachter to hook you up with Sony and Microsoft. Michael Pachter's got enough on his plate with anybody trying to hook me up. I mean, if anybody does who's watching this, I'm not going to say no. It's going to be fun to do this as part of my recovery because I'm dying. Fuck that shit. It would be lovely to experience some of these titles because I love this industry and I love games, and that's what I am. There's so much stuff I want to experience that I'm going to experience. I'm going to be around for a while. So I'm going to say to you, be good, be safe, get vaccinated if you have not yet been vaccinated. If you are a lady, make sure you get your mammograms on time and your other lady parts checked, because there are other, cancer's a bitch. And if you are a dude, finger, doctor. If you're in your mid to late 40s, get a PSA check, and don't panic if you come back initially with a huge PSA check, because they can fluctuate. So just get the tests done. Do it for me. Do it for Uncle Marcus. Okay. Cautionary tale. I'm going to be around. I'm going to be around for as long as I'm around, and you're going to be here with me, and I really appreciate that. So I am, after an hour and 10 minutes, I am going to go and I'm going to hang out with my darling wife and give her a cuddle. You guys stay awesome. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the messages. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'll be back next week, hopefully around the same time, and I'll let you know. Follow me on the Twitter to make sure that you know if there's any changes, because if I'm in therapy, or not therapy, in treatment, it's going to be, difficult to stream. So yes, be good. Thank you so much. You are all wonderful, wonderful people. I am so glad to have you in my life. I will catch up with you.